I bet my life I'm a dice shaker. Electric lights on a skyscraper.
Welcome to Diceshaker Podcast. My name is Jordan Brown. I'm the host of the Diceshaker Podcast. With me, as always, the man behind the scenes, Tyler Hartley. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jordan.
Week 11 in the books. A lot to get to. First, we start with the gambling record. Positives all the way around. Winning in college, winning in the NFL. That's now 4 straight weeks, winning weeks in college, and gets back on track for the NFL. College, we're running out of time. Let's be honest about it. We're sitting at about 47% now. There's 2 real weeks of games left, and then conference championship week. We'll make the postseason record a different record because those, I think, are a different kind of thing. So listen, is 52.5% going to happen? We're going to need a big couple of weeks here to finish. We're going to need two weeks in probably like the 70% range. I'm not going to say it can't be done. I'm going to sit here and tell you can't do it. All right, Chiefs block field goal last second, win the game. Like, the great ones figure out how to win when you have to.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and say I can't do it, but listen, I might have let you guys down this year in college football, all right? Hand up, might have done it. The NFL, I continue a historic run here. 57%, really, if you round it up, 58%, that's not a big deal. You guys don't need to give me the extra percent. I don't need it. Through 11 weeks. Obviously, listen, the high water mark this year, I think, was like 67%. And that I mean, we always knew that wasn't going to be sustainable, and that's fine. But to be this far into the season and not have the bottom fall out, like to have two pretty unlucky weeks the last couple of weeks that gave us some bad records, and then to survive that and come back with this week. And listen, this week wasn't fantastic. I mean, 4-3-1 is like we're not throwing a parade for 4-3-1. But really didn't feel like I had a bad read in any of the games. The fucking Falcons missed 3 field goals in a dome. In a year where every kicker has made everything they've looked at all year long, and lose by 3, that's fine. That's just chalk that up to weird NFL shit. Cowboys and Eagles, total finished about a field goal short. The Eagles turned it over in the end zone. The Cowboys turned it over in the end zone. CeeDee Lamb didn't catch a touchdown pass because the sun got in his eyes. Did you see that?
Honestly, it felt like he was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
So were you aware of like the Cowboy Jerry World thing with the sun and how they fucked that up? Do you know what that was? No. So this has been a thing ever since they built this stadium, which is now it's going on like, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, right? And so when it was built, it was like the biggest football stadium ever. It was the most expensive, crazy, Dallas, Jerry Jones, we get it. The thing with it is the whole one side of the stadium is glass. It's all windows, right? Well, and so the way they built it facing east-west. So when the Cowboys play in that afternoon slot, it's at different points in the year, you get this crazy glare on the field from the sun coming through the glass, which creates that sun on the field that like fucked up CeeDee Lamb. It's fucked up a bunch of different things over the years. It's a crazy, crazy thing, and it only exists because they just didn't think about it when they were building the stadium.
That's insane.
It's
dude.
crazy.
So too much money goes into that to not think about that.
Right. $1 billion stadium.
Yeah.
Just didn't think about it. You want to hear what else is crazy? For certain events, concerts, things like that, they have curtains that they put over the windows to block the sun. Jerry won't do it for Cowboys games.
Why? What's his reason for that?
Because he's out of his fucking mind. They asked him after the game about the sun, hey, it was a problem again, what are you going to do? And his answer was like, well, we do know where the sun's going to be when we do the coin toss. We do know where the sun's going to be in our own stadium. Basically being like, it's not my fault. You should account for it. Like, we shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should pick the
No, I get what you're saying. That's just, again, insane.
Crazy.
Crazy.
And he says something crazy after that where he's like, people want to ask me, where's the sun? Where's the sun? Where's the moon? And it's like, what? Like, just a truly, like, Joe Biden-esque.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just a crazy, crazy old man that nobody has the balls to be like, you need to stop. Like, Jerry Jones, realistically, if anybody cared about that man, he'd never be seen in public again. He has so much money. Just go buy Epstein's Island and go hang out there the rest of your days. Let your idiot son run the team. It's not going to go any worse. The season's over. Like, so... Anyway, I didn't read the game wrong. It's just that Jerry Jones is a crazy person and won't pull the curtains, so we don't hit the over.
Absolutely.
So I think Jerry Jones personally owes me money. And then what was the other one? The Rams lost last night.
Another weird one, though.
Weird one. Just really bad performance from the Rams offense.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought the floor on a Sean McVay Matt Stafford, like, healthy offense at home was higher than that. Apparently not. I do some more thinking on that. I may have to reevaluate their offense as from what I thought it was. But so that's the gambling market. Things are good there. Things are not good in, like, the fandom world. We've talked about this for me right now. Like, Oklahoma got stomped. Well, they didn't get stomped. They really just got embarrassed. So basically, Oklahoma was playing Missouri. Scored a touchdown to go ahead with like a minute or so left in the game, maybe less than that. And then the quarterback we were trying to get a first down to, like, you know, kind of kill the game. Quarterback fumbled, they pick it up, score, touchdown, game over. So that was heartbreaking. Oklahoma's in shambles. They're not going to make a bowl game for the first time in 25 years. They're embarrassing. There's no real fix, I think, coming. Truly disgusting organization. I mean, not like that's harsh for Oklahoma because they've been so successful over the years, but like we're in hell right now. Like something's got to change there. And then the Titans, it's official. I have to make the announcement now. Like I'm out on Will Levis. It's official. I'm out. And listen, I took up the mantle of Will Levis when the Titans drafted him in the second round because there was all this like Will Levis had the worst PR ever coming into that draft. So, like, things came out during that year when he was in college of, like, the first thing I remember coming out, I think it was preseason, that sometimes he would eat bananas with the peel on.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Is he also the banana, the mayo and coffee guy?
Mayo and coffee guy, yeah.
Like,
so that was the second one.
Shit
that was the second one, right? So it's like that came out. And so I got this idea of Will Levis in my head of being like this, like, oh, he's like this, like, sloppy, like, frat boy quarterback. He's like eating bananas and mayo and the coffee. Like, he's just like a dummy. And then you see the guy and he's built like a Adonis. Like, he is the most, like, disciplined, hardworking, like, he is like 4% body fat, fucking tall, athletic, jacked. Like, he looks like this guy should be the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, oh my god. So I was like, okay, so this guy's got terrible PR because that is not at all what I thought he was. And then he gets invited to the draft and sits in the green room, which, like, only, like, you know, the top, like, 10, 15 guys, whatever, get to do that. He let somebody set him up for failure there too, because then he doesn't get picked until the second round, and he sits there all night for the first round's getting picked with the camera just on him while he's sitting there, just not getting picked. So I'm like, all right, bad PR for Will Levis number 2. So the Titans end up taking him, and I go, all right, I'm a champion this guy. Because here's the thing with the Titans, right? Is like they've never been a place that anybody ever wants to play, and they may never be that place. So for me to cheer for a guy on the Titans, I don't need you to necessarily be that good. I don't even need you really to win. I just need guys. I will cheer for guys on the Titans. Like, if you just want to be there and just, like, play hard and care, I'll be in your corner for as long as I possibly can. And so Will Levis was very clear. I was like, this guy wants to be good so bad that I'll start getting his car. I'll defend him. And so I started making the football arguments for it. Like, the arm is crazy strong. He can make throws that, like, elite level throws. The accuracy's there. We're not really sure if he can process that well, but hey, that's something you can kind of learn as he's going to get coached up. He's going to play action system, whatever. We can make that work. So I was making that argument for a long time. So this offseason hits, and it's all kinds of Will Levis hype coming out of the media. There's Pete Prisco, CBS. Me and him have a personal beef forever over what he told. Not like he told me. He didn't tell me personally, but he wrote this. And so now it's a personal beef because I read it and it affected me. He said in the summer that the Titans had found their franchise quarterback. He went to training camp and he wrote this big thing on Will Levis saying, oh, this is how good he is. And he looks the part. He's 6'4", he's 6'5". The arm's going crazy. He's a leader. The guys want to play for him. He's got the right coaching staff around him. You did it, Titans. You got it. You got your guy. And there was he was like definitely like the big one, but there was lots other like, oh yeah, Will Levis is going to be good. He's going to be good. The Titans figured it out. Yeah, what a steal in the second round. And I bought all that shit. All of it. And the season starts. Bears week 1. Titans go up 14-0. Start the game. And I'm like, yup, here it is. Welcome to the rest of my life. This is going to be amazing. And then he starts doing the things he's now famous for. He does the crazy interceptions for no reason and the dumb fumbles. And then week after week, and then, the Monday night game against the Dolphins, he gets the dumbest guy. He just gets caught on camera very clearly saying, like, I didn't even see him.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, God, you're making this hard, Will. I'm trying, brother. And I didn't give up on him. I'm like, all right. Like, it's bad. Things were bad. And it was really bad because it was when you have a guy like that who all the practice reports, anybody who's ever seen him on a practice field is like, yup, that's it. That's a franchise quarterback right there. That's what everybody's looking for. You got it. And then to have it in the game be a situation where you can see those flashes, but he just always does something terribly wrong to ruin that, that's a big problem because that tells you the guy's got a mental issue. Mm-hmm. That tells you that when the lights come on in the game, something happens in his mind that isn't happening in practice, and that's fucking him up, right? We use the golf analogy a lot. On the range, you're striping them. We get to the first tee, and you don't have it anymore.
Things change.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And so that's a huge red flag for any quarterback. And so when that started happening, I started preparing. I'm like, okay, we might have to start divesting a little bit. We might have to start, let's start shredding some, it's like kind of the Wolf of Wall Street thing. It's like, let's start just like shredding some papers and deleting some tweets and like going back and erasing some things from history because we may need to get out of the Will Levis business. And so anyway, in that game with the Dolphins, he hurts his shoulder, gets caught. They're like, well, I wonder where he's hurt. And then again, he's just on the sideline, hot mic. It's my shoulder. It's like, this guy can't get out of his own way. Like, just the biggest dummy ever. And he's not dumb, but it's just like he just does dumb things. And so anyway, so he's out for, he tries to come back. It doesn't go great. They sit him for a few weeks, and Mason Rudolph comes in, and the offense looks a little better. Not great, but better than it did with Levis. And then they bring Levis back in for this game against the Chargers. And this was it. I go, okay. He's had his time to sit, collect his thoughts a little bit, get away from the right, because it was getting, people forget, like early in the season, like people were killing Will Levis, rightfully so, because of all the crazy dumb shit he was doing, all the fumbles and the crazy. It's not even like he's just like literally hitting a linebacker in the chest and then going to his coach and being like, I need to see him. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I go, all right, he's had time to get away from all that. If he's gonna do it, like if he can turn it around, it's gonna happen right here in this Chargers game. I'm gonna need to see him playing more like what I've heard he practiced like, where he's playing free and not thinking. Everybody, listen, well, he didn't turn it over. I know he didn't turn it over. You know why he didn't turn it over? Because he came into that game, I promise, he came into that game thinking to himself, I don't care what happens today, I am not turning this ball over. And he played so scared. He held onto the ball forever because he's terrified of making a mistake, which means he is overcorrected from where we were before, which to me hammers home that point of like, oh, you don't got it.
Yeah,
you don't got it.
Absolutely.
You don't got it.
Especially when you're playing scared like that too. Like that's just another bad sign.
And so on one side we had, hey, I'm so worried about like not doing. I think he and this is where it's hard to bail on him because it's like I think it all comes to a place like he just wants to be so good so bad, and so but like that he's like I want to be so good that he was just like, well, I can't take a sack right here, so I'm just going to throw out of it. Oh, shit, pick six the other way, right? Yeah. Where it's like he would make bad decisions, do like risky, crazy shit because he was just always trying to like, I got to make a play. And now to have course corrected so far in the other direction that I saw in that game of, okay, well, I'm just never, ever, ever taking a risk and I'll just take a million sacks and check it down every time. And that's how I'll play the game. And it's like, nope, that ain't it either, brother. And the fact that you can't figure out the in-between there, just that's it. Nobody just figures that, right? It's not like the Josh Allen thing where Josh Allen was like, oh, risky, and then turned it into a place where it's like he's still risky, but he hits enough of the risks and the downside's not as bad to where like you can sustain it.
Yeah.
Will Levis just went from like crazy risky to like the worst Kirk Cousins impression I've ever fucking seen in my life. Where it's like, brother, we can have Mason Rudolph come in and do that.
Yeah.
Like we don't need you to do that. And like I said, for him to not, he's going to start the rest of the season for the Titans. The season's over. All I care about, I'm on Tankathon every day. All I care about is what pick the Titans are getting. We have a decent shot at the number one pick. There's only 2 winnable games left. We played the Jags twice. It's the only games we have a shot at winning the rest of the way. Everything else is a loss. So whatever. So they're going to let him go, and we'll see. And listen, maybe I'm going to be wrong, but I just want to say officially, me right now, the guy, I was the biggest Will Levis guy there was in his corner from the day we drafted him. I'm out now. I can't do it anymore. So that's it. That's where we're at on Will Levis.
That's tough, man. That's tough to hear. Because that was really the only thing you had going the rest of the season. It's like, I still like Will Levis.
Listen, it's not even his fault, right? Like, it is partly, like, you see this going on with the Bears now and Caleb Williams. And it's the thing we've talked about before about like organizations being who they were.
Yeah.
You know, like the Titans suck, man. Like,
do you think Levis goes somewhere else and does something?
Probably.
Yeah.
He'll probably be a backup in the league for a long time.
Sure.
Because like again, there is enough upside there to where like somebody else will convince like I could coach him up, or you know, as a backup, like as a like the whole like he's a franchise quarterback thing that we thought like 2 months ago. That's
Yes. Yep.
That's done. And listen, and you know, the Titans will draft somebody else. We're probably gonna. I don't like any of these quarterbacks that are coming. Not that I don't like any of them, but like I don't think any of them have a high chance of being being a franchise guy, which is what you have to be if you're going to be picked in the top 5. So it's like I don't know. Maybe we end up with Shedeur. Maybe we end up with Cam Ward. Maybe it's Quinn Ewers. It's not going to work no matter who it is. It doesn't matter. The organization will ruin it. Similar to how we ruined Marcus Mariota. You know, he had three offensive coordinators through his first 4 years in the league. None of them were good. That's also tough, right? 0-3 on like actual good coordinators. Ruins him. His career's over. Not over. I mean, Mario's been in the league a long time, but like never. You know, we ruined his chance of being a franchise guy. So the Titans will do that too. And you know, that's just kind of what my life is, man. I'm pot committed to this organization. I've been here since 1999. I don't know any other life, and it just is what it is, man.
It wouldn't be the right thing to do. Anyway, that would not be that wouldn't be Diceshaker-esque for you to just switch teams. What are we talking about?
No, it would never happen. It would never.
You been thinking about that lately?
No.
No. Who are you?
No, but it's just like the admission of like, yeah, this is like a life sentence, and like they'll probably unless and listen, it happened with the Clippers. I'm a Clippers fan too. One day we'll break down all the different fandoms and how it all happened. But it did happen with the Clippers where the owner got caught saying the N-word. The owner was like, the Clippers are bad forever because the owner was bad, right? And so Don Sterling says the N-word, gets the team taken from him, and then the Clippers get bought by like the second richest man in America and like easily the richest sports owner in America. And now they have like the nicest arena of all time and like their destination place for free agents and stuff like that. So it's like the fortunes, and listen, now you'd still argue that the Clippers are still the Clippers because Kawhi's hurt all the, you know what I'm saying? Like things still never really worked out.
The Clippers are a different one if we're going to get to, I don't know how much you want to get basketball. Clippers are different because they truly give you hope every year. There's no reason to not think that they can go on a run every year. Right? At least with the Titans, it's like you can go in and be like, well, maybe Will Levis can be good.
And that's my point. That's my point, right? Of like the Clippers are at least, and like that I have seen it where a franchise can go from like, oh, they're just always awful to like, hey, they made like it's like obviously you would want them to like win championships, but like even just being like, hey, they're going to be like relevant every year would be a massive step up for the Titans. Like that's probably one of the worst things about being a Titans fan is like oftentimes people just forget about them.
Yes.
Yeah. Like they forget they're there. You know, and it's like,
they
just
easy
don't. Yeah, they're irrelevant. They're irrelevant. And they deserve it. Listen, they did it to themselves. If Amy Adams were to sell the team, I would love that. I mean, we had a chance. So Bud Adams owned the team, her dad. Crazy son of a bitch. Crazy, racist dude, awful owner, one of the worst owners of all time. He died. I thought we might have a shot there when she took over. And she's definitely better than Bud, but I mean, listen, like we fired Vrabel. What was that about? Like, I would definitely take Vrabel over fucking Brian Callahan. I'm quickly losing patience with him. Yeah. He starts next year like on the hottest of hot seats with me. And he better hope we get that quarterback pick right. Otherwise, he's gone.
What are you even hoping with the Titans? Are you just looking for just a competitive season, like an 8-9 season? No. I guess now, like. Because, like, what can you really do with that team?
We were good there for a minute, right? Like, with the Vrabel era was, like, kind of the high watermark.
Like with Tannehill and stuff, right? Like, yeah.
So, like, there's two, like, eras of Titans football that are really good, which is, like, when I came in as a fan in, like, the late 90s, early 2000s with Jeff Fisher as the head coach and Eddie George and Steve McNair. I remember this. The reason I became a Titans fan, right? And they went to a Super Bowl and a couple AFC championship games and, like, were a good, relevant team for, like, 4 or 5 years. Then it was, like, you know, approximately 18 years of abject failure and irrelevancy, and you know the Vince Young, Jake Locker, Kerry Collins, you know, Chris Sims of the world, like all those different quarterbacks, and then Vrabel showed up and he fixed it, and we had that run from 2018 through 2022, I guess technically, but really 2021. Like when we lost that playoff game to the Bengals, that was kind of it. Mm-hmm. Of like, okay, this is a team that has like an identity of like we are tough as shit, and we show up in big games, and we're well coached, and it's Derrick Henry, and it's Ryan Tannehill, and it's AJ Brown, and you know, and then all that, right? And it was like, oh, this is good, we're relevant. And I thought like that was like, okay, like this, the organization's figured it out. We're gonna be like the Patriots. We're gonna hire all the Patriots, right? Vrabel and John Robinson was the GM. He was a Patriot guy. It's like, okay, we're just gonna do all Patriot shit. This is gonna be sick. We're the new Patriots.
Yeah.
And then that fell apart. All right, the AJ Brown trade, and then Vrabel starts beefing with the organization, and he's out, and Tannehill, and listen, the NFL, it's like unless you have a Mahomes type guy, every organization is going to, you put yourself together for these little runs, these little windows, and you have, you see with the Niners now, you have these like 3-year, maybe if you're lucky, windows to try to make something happen. If you don't make it happen, it's like guys are going to get old and expensive and all that shit, and the roster has to reset, right? Yeah. And so the ups and downs are expected, and, obviously you'd like to be an organization like the Steelers or the Ravens or the Packers where it's like they're just always at a consistent level, but it's like, yeah, those are great organizations.
Yes, yeah.
The Titans are not that. So I always expect there to be a downturn, but like when they fired Vrabes, I was like, okay, you better get this next hire right because Vrabes was sick. I would go to war for Vrabes and then bring in Brian Callahan. And it's like, I don't know. It's hard. I can't put all the blame on him because of how bad the Will Levis thing has been. But he okay, well, next year you get your quarterback. And if we're still this bad on offense, you're fucking out of here, brother.
Yeah.
I won't have it. Hire the next. And again, I'll go. And people, that's the thing with being a fan of this organization for so long. It's like, I've been through all this, brother. I've been in these streets. I'll go right back. I don't care. You think I'm scared to go hire a new coach? Brother, I went through Ken Whisenhunt, Mike Mularkey, back to back. Doug Marrone was the head coach for a little while. Like, just truly inept bums. And I made it through that. So like, what are you gonna do? Maybe Brian Callahan. Like, I don't care, man. Just fire him and get the next guy in, and same with the quarterback. I've been through awful quarterback play in Tennessee. So it's like, yeah, just draft another one. And it probably won't work. And then draft another one after that. Like, I'm not like, what I don't want is go pay Sam Darnold.
No, of course. I mean, we get into that too if you want to, but like that, he's really showing himself now. Really showing his fucking hand.
Listen,
but I get what you mean. That
like
caliber
Sam Darnold
quarterback
probably deserves to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he can do. He's in that like Geno Smith level.
Yeah, on like a top team, like a top offensive team for sure.
No, he's not like he's not like a game changer. He's a play action.
No, you're right though. So then you got Tennessee goes out and gets someone like that, and you'll really see it's going to be the same kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be okay, he'll be fine. But it's like, again, it's like that's a thing that like an organization like the Steelers or somebody can do with like Russell Wilson, where it's like, hey, we're going to bring a quarterback in that's not going to be as good as, he's not a superstar, but we're going to have a great team around him, and we're all going to be well coached, and we're going to have good schemes, and then we're going to be able to turn that into a successful season. Things can't sit there and confidently say that we're going to be able to elevate the roster. No. We need to luck into Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, yeah.
And so let's just keep picking a guy until...
And that's obviously not a crazy move either, right? Like, it's going to take a long time. It could.
It's already... That's my point. But I'm 20 years deep, brother.
Exactly. It can't get much worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You're right. No,
what are you truly...
Yeah.
Who are you drafting where I'm like, no, listen, the Will Levis thing has been like, I'm out on this type of, this like erratic style of quarterback play. Like, I don't want the Cam Ward thing. I don't really think I want the Shadur thing. Like, don't give me the mentally weak quarterback. That's what I don't want. Yeah. Like don't give me the guy who's going to go out there and panic, because that's just infuriating to watch. So anyway, that's enough about the Titans. And wanted to get that off my chest. There's some big games this week that I want to quickly.
You've been harboring that. All week. I said Sunday, I guess.
Well, nobody ever wants to talk about the Titans, right? Nobody ever. It never comes up. So like, it's like I don't have any. There's no other. I live in Canada. There's no other Titans fans.
No,
I'm the only one in this country. I guarantee I'm the only one.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the Titans thing, and I had to get it off my chest. But there are some pretty good games this week that I want to talk about. Three big matchups that are that have playoff implications, division implications, and are. We're deep enough into the NFL season now where we know who the contenders are. We know who they're not. And I think all 6 of these teams may not be Super Bowl contenders, but are at the very least in the sort of upper third of the league. So I just wanted to go and break down games. Now, one thing I will say before we get to this. So we have 3 like high-level good NFL games this week. Not one of them is the Sunday night game, which seems crazy to me.
What do they have? Cincy Chargers Sunday night?
Which is a fine game.
That's a good game.
Sure.
But
that needs to be in the 4 o'clock window and put one of these games in the...
Because we got Bills Chiefs 4:25, which is like, it's still like, it's not bad.
That should be... Listen, any of these 3 games we're going to talk about should be the Sunday night game over the one they have. So that's... The NFL's been bad with their windows this year. The afternoon window we just had was the worst of the year.
Oh, awful.
That was terrible.
Awful.
3 games in a row.
That was the only one I could really sit down and watch. I was like, this is the worst.
Yeah,
dude.
I know. It's because, again, it's the dog days.
Under on the Chargers game.
It's the dog days of the season. They know that we're locked in and we're just in a habit of we're going to watch everything. It's why the Germany game at Panthers Giants at 9:30 in the morning.
That one I got absolutely right. If you're going to play those teams, put them at 9:30 where no one gives a fuck.
Ship them the dog shit. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, we don't need to be doing all these internet. Anyway, whatever. Why can't I pull up this week's games? What the hell day? There we go. All right. So Thursday night, and we'll give out. Fuck it. I'll give out picks for all 3.
Nice.
So Commanders at Eagles. The NFC East is a very clear 2-horse race at this point between these 2 teams. The Giants stink, Cowboys stink. They're both done. We're not thinking about them anymore. These are the 2 teams. The division's going to be won by 2 of them, and the other team, just based on record, they're probably getting a wild card. These are probably both 2 playoff teams, but this game will go a long way to determining who wins the division and who doesn't, who gets to play at home in the first round and who doesn't. And I mean, realistically, you could say the Eagles, at least, I think you could say, are in contention for the 1 seed still. Obviously, the Lions would need to lose, but if they win this game, they're 8-2. You have to take that serious.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about it from kind of each team's perspective here. So the Commanders, nobody wants to be the guy who brings everybody back down to earth on the Commanders. They've probably been like the most fun story of the first half of the season. Obviously, the Jaden Daniels thing has been good. It's cool to see a franchise that, right? Like, what I was just talking about with the Titans of they just went drafted until they got a star, they think. And so it seems to have worked out for them. So that's fun to see. Everybody likes that. The dysfunctional franchise gets a new owner and turns it around. They're not frauds because they're not pretending to be something that they're not. People are making them into be something that they're not. And they've played a very weak schedule that's allowed them to rack up a lot of wins. And hey, you got to play the games on your schedule. That's fine. There's a little bit of fool's gold here with 2 things. One is the schedule that they've played, and the other is like the Cliff Kingsbury offense thing of like all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe this is like a top 5 offense in the NFL. And it's like, yeah, maybe in some weeks against some teams it is. But when the weather gets cold and the defenses get good, do I really believe in Cliff to put his guys in a position to succeed? Not really. Do I believe in that offensive line to hold up against the best defensive lines? Not really. Obviously, Jaden Daniels, listen, he's played very well. He's certainly going to win Rookie of the Year. And we saw it this week against the Steelers. He can impact a game in ways most quarterbacks cannot. I think the only other one who can do it the way he does it is Lamar. And so what you saw this week from the Steelers was anytime a defensive lineman didn't get blocked, so when they're running like away from that defensive lineman, and if you're going to do like one of those read option plays, that's the guy you read, right? If he crashes, then Jaden pulls it and goes out the outside. As soon as the Steelers very clearly were told this week that if you are unblocked, I do not give a fuck where the ball is, you go get Jaden Daniels. And because you saw that this week of their ends, as soon as they were unblocked, the ball's going away from them, they just ran directly at Jaden Daniels. They didn't care about where the handoff was. They weren't trying to read anything. They just immediately at Jaden Daniels to take him out of the play, essentially. Go, you're not running with the ball, right? And the only other one where teams will play that way is Lamar. And that has an impact because it's kind of like this Steph Curry like gravity thing where it's like he creates space for everybody else because like everybody's just like you kind of like almost subconsciously like take 2 steps towards him. Jaden Daniels, just by being on the field, opens up more space for the running game and for like certain like RPO stuff, but because they have to be so worried about him as a runner.
Yes.
So that's a very, very good thing that will be there as long as Jaden Daniels has the athleticism that he has. So that's real, but I'm not there on them as like a true Super Bowl contender, and I'm going to need to see them win a big game against a good team before I believe in them. in that spot. On the other side, the Eagles are a team that I was very down on early in the year. I didn't like the offensive line. I thought the defensive line was underperforming. I had questions about the secondary, questions about the coach for sure. And to be honest, and it hurts me, my Oklahoma guy, but I wasn't sure what we were going to get out of Jalen Hurts. They started off pretty rough. Not pretty rough, but just looking pretty bad. They've since turned it around. They're now 7-2. They've been beating the brakes off a bunch of teams. They just stomped the Cowboys out. The offensive line has started to figure things out without Jason Kelce over time. They're healthy on offense now with A.J. Brown there. Saquon's been great. Defensively, the young defensive line guys are starting. I would still say they're underwhelming for who they are and where they were drafted. And part of that is my own bias too, because I figure out who these guys are when they're coming out of high school, looking at the high school rankings. And so like Nolan Smith is a guy who the Eagles have, who at one point in time was the number one player in the country coming out of high school. He went to Georgia and was good, not great, and then got drafted in the second round. But like because he was the number one player in the country, I still kind of have that in my mind of like, oh no, he's supposed to be like amazing. Mm-hmm. Where it's like that's probably just not what he is. Like, just because you're the best player when you're 17 doesn't mean you're the best player in 23. Yeah. But I kind of always hold guys to, what I'm saying, just kind of a subconscious bias thing. But so I would say they've been underperforming for who they are, but still better than they were earlier in the season for sure. And then their young secondary, the Cooper DeJeans and the Quinyon Mitchells of the world have played very, very well for being rookies. Is that something you can hang your hat on in the postseason? We'll see. That's kind of what the question this game always asks is like, who has it when you have to have it? And so we'll see if those guys can, play in big pressure spots, especially a guy like Quinyon Mitchell who went to Toledo. Like, it's not like he has a ton of big game experience, But there's not a lot of holes in this team right now. You look all the way around and goes, this is a really solid team that I think is a contender in the NFC. I think they could, on the right day, beat the Lions. Would they beat dogs? Yeah, absolutely. But they're two very similarly built teams that want to play the game the same way. And on any given day, I think the Eagles could be better than the Lions in a 60-minute football game.
I think that's fair. I think coming into the season, people thought that too. Like they were underperforming last year. They underperformed the start of the season this year, right? Absolutely. This is about the time where they collapsed last year. So it could all fall apart again. Nick Sirianni is a bad coach, and I don't believe his players believe in him. So like that, it's always possible of like the quit factor kind of thing. But I head into this game, it's hard for me to not like them. I don't want to lay 3.5 with them at home though, and it's purely because of the spot. They kind of got fucked a little bit on this one. So they played in Dallas in the late afternoon window on Sunday. Yeah, which means they didn't get back to Philly until like 2 a.m. Monday morning. So day off. So Monday they come in, watch film. Tuesday day off. One practice day Tuesday. Tuesday practice. Wednesday walkthrough. So they're really only going to have 1 day of practice for this game because they basically lose one on the travel. Yeah. Whereas the Commanders didn't have to travel. They were at home last week in the right time zone. So even though they're the road team here, they're actually probably going to be a little bit better rested, maybe slightly better prepared. So I didn't want to lay the 3.5. I also didn't want to take the Commanders on the points because I do think there's a chance that they kind of get exposed a little bit in this game. So I bet under. I got it at 49.5. I think it's 48.5 most places right now. For the needle thread, sorry, I should clarify. This is a Thursday game. Yes. I will take the Commanders plus the points in the needle thread and the under, just because, again, it's a needle thread. I have to pick a side, so I don't love it. But if you're going to give me 3.5, and I'm not sure quite what I'm getting out of either team because of the spot for the Eagles, I'll take the 3.5. So anyway, so there's that. But the real play I like for people is under, just as like a big game pick. I just think again, like it's a short rest game. I think the Eagles, if they do get up, are going to look to shorten this game as much as possible because of they're so run the clock, run the ball, that kind of thing. I'm not a true believer in this Commanders offense in a big spot yet. I think the Eagles defense is a bad matchup for them. Is it possible the Eagles just score 1 million points because the Commanders defense sucks? Maybe. Or the Commanders score a bunch because the Eagles are tired? Maybe. But I think 49.5, I mean, that's a lot of points. So under there. Is the pick for that one. Awesome number. Yeah, I think it's 48 now. Yeah, it's 48.5 most places now, but still not bad. But obviously 49 key number. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the first one. The next one we touched on briefly earlier is Ravens Steelers. Just it's so the NFL is better when these two teams are good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And listen, we knew the Ravens were good from the start of the season. Obviously they lost their first 2 games. Nobody really thought that was real. If you did, you're a moron. Very clearly, I think in my mind, I guess not very clearly because of the Lions, but like they're the best offense in the NFL to me. I think we talked about this maybe last week or the week before about how the Lions have to play a certain way on offense to be good, whereas the Ravens can kind of give it to you multiple ways. So they've kind of done what we expect them to do. The defense is bad. I think we can be comfortable saying that. And the Ravens are a team that, because of just historical bias and they wear black jerseys at home and it looks sick, you're just like, oh, that team's good defensively. It's like they're not really that good defensively. They cannot create pass rush without blitzing guys, and that's a hard way to make a living late into the season. So that's kind of where the Ravens are at, and that's why this is a good matchup, right? Because it's like Ravens good on offense, bad on defense. Then you get the Steelers, not really good on offense, pretty great on defense. So it's like, you know, styles make fights. What's going to give there? Who can make that happen? The Steelers, listen, surprising but not surprising, right? Surprising I don't know what, like this team, and this is why I love Tomlin. Tomlin's getting a lot of credit this year after getting some shit in the last few years for being he's the type of coach that I really appreciate. It's the Belichick mold, the Harbaugh mold of this philosophy of we can't lose if nobody fucks up. Mm-hmm. Right, like we don't actually need to like have these like crazy explosive plays and these like we don't need, you know, the supercharged offense and all that. All we need is for everybody to do their job on every single play, and we cannot lose. And like that's true. And to watch a team do that and to play that way is impressive. Obviously, the downside of that is it's very hard to never fuck up. Yep. And if you do fuck up, that's when you need explosive plays to offset those, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the Steelers may have stumbled their way into that with Russie, because the one thing Russ has still got a little bit, it seems, is that deep ball. He's got that moonshot to Pickens going a little bit. Yeah. Pickens seems like the right kind of guy. By the way, the craziest guy in the NFL right now. I think it's a rule that the Steelers have to have a fucking nut job in the locker room at all times.
Absolutely, yeah. An AB and then him, yeah, for sure.
Insane. Did you see the vampire thing he did?
I didn't see the vampire. I just know his antics in the past. I know what he's done.
Bro, he I think it was on a pick. He like tossed a DB to the ground and then like acted like he was like biting his neck.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
What a weirdo, bro. So anyway, but
what a sick guy.
But man, he can win a one-on-one jump ball. You know?
Absolutely. Yep.
He's up there with the best of them in that right now, I think, in the NFL. So that's a little bit of formula success for them, where is if they can have this ethos of we're never going to mess up. The coach is always going to have the guys bought in and in a decent spot to win the game. And then we also have this sort of chance at making big plays. They can also run the ball fairly well. They're a pretty good team running in the run game as well. Najee's still giving them.
Who's the other guy? Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren,
pretty well for them too.
Two good backs. Like, so there's a lot to like about the Steelers. I just thought, I thought the quarterback situation was just going to be untenable this year. I thought it was going to be Justin Fields and just kind of live with the ups and downs of that. But it seems like, you know, they figured something out with Russ, and that defense is legit as long as they stay healthy. You know, as long as TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Alonzo Highsmith, I think rolled an ankle in this last game, so that's something to watch. But if they can stay relatively healthy on defense, like that's going to carry late into the year. It's always going to be a tough place to go play. So I don't think the Steelers are Super Bowl contenders, because, again, I think that list is actually very short. But I think they are definitely a playoff team. I could see them winning this game against the Ravens. I could see them winning this division. And I'm telling you right now, nobody wants to play Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and certainly nobody wants to go to Pittsburgh.
No, fuck, that's the biggest thing, right? Is you don't want home field advantage. You don't want to go. Sucks there.
Right, yeah, sure. Right.
Cold and
for this game, what do we got the line at? We've got it at where the hell are they? So right now it's Steelers +3. I got them at 3.5 on Sunday. I think taking the points here is the play. Divisional matchup, rivalry, two pretty good teams. The Ravens, you never like they do. The Ravens definitely more volatile than the Steelers. So if you get a bad Ravens performance, obviously you want the Steelers plus the points. And like it's just classic AFC North matchup battle. Like I don't see how like the chance that this becomes a field goal type game to me at 20, a 27-24 type game is very high. So to be able to get 3 in the hook with the Steelers was good. It's 3 juice most places. So if it does go back to 3.5, everybody needs to hammer time that. I like the Steelers in this game. I think there's a chance they win it outright. Very excited for that one. That game should not be at 1 o'clock. That game needs to be dark out when that game is played. So that's either in the 4 o'clock window because it gets dark at like 5 o'clock now, or just make it the night game. Yeah. Also, I hope they're playing. They are. They're going to play later in the year too because we need that game to be like extra cold. I don't think it's going to be cold enough for my tastes. In this game. And then the last one to talk about, the marquee matchup, probably the biggest game in the NFL so far this year. I know the Chiefs played the Ravens earlier, but that was week 1, so it's hard to say that's a bigger game when it's so early in the season. Chiefs at Bills. Line right now is Chiefs 2.5. Totals at 46.5. Listen, man. Listen. I've been saying things about the Chiefs all year. I've been saying they're the best team. Saying they're winning the Super Bowl again. I'm telling you guys we got to cancel Christmas. Week after week, people try to do. People forget. They're like, oh, well, what about this problem and that problem? And the offense isn't that good. And they figure out a way to win. I'm not saying they planned on blocking the field goal against the Broncos. What I am saying is like, if that's the Jags in that spot, they don't block that field goal. Because like the guys aren't trying that hard. Like the thing the Chiefs have now is like every single day. Every single player on that team knows we are playing for one thing and one thing only, and that is the Super Bowl. Nothing else matters. Yep. And we have an opportunity here that most people never have, which is that we are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Because we have Patrick Mahomes and we're in this situation, you've been blessed with this glorious chance. And guys want to make the most of that. They want to take advantage of that. And so they're playing hard as shit on that last play, trying to block the field goal, and they do it and they win. It's championship DNA. That's an organization that knows how to win games. Now, that being said, the Bills need this game way more than the Chiefs do. The Bills have to have this one. They cannot. And listen, it doesn't solve all of the questions about them because they've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season before. Until they beat them in the playoffs, there's still going to be those questions. But they have to have this one. They're at home. They're rolling right now. The revamped offense. Keon Coleman is going to be out for this game, I believe. But they've changed the offense around. If they don't get them in this game, then they're going to be, 4.5, 5.5 point dogs come playoff time. They have no shot at the 1 seed. If the Chiefs win this game, they basically have locked the 1 seed up because the Ravens have lost 3 times, the Bills will have lost 3 times, and they have wins over them both. Yeah. So they'll have essentially locked the 1 seed up, which means you're going to Kansas City to play them. Nobody wants to do that. The Bills certainly don't want to do that. So the Bills have to have this game. And I think they could get it. I don't think the Chiefs are going to go undefeated. I don't think that, they're going to slip up at some point. This could easily be the game where it happens. But I do also think, I think when that schedule came out at the beginning of the year, the Chiefs looked at it and go, all right, let's see. Okay, week 1, Ravens. Yeah, all right, we'll care about that. All right, couple months off there. Okay, week 11, there's the Bills. All right, we'll care about that. All right, couple more weeks off. Let's go through Thanksgiving. That'll be fun. Everybody get away. And then, okay, we'll start to give a shit around January. Sounds good. Yeah. So, I believe that they're going to care about this game and they want to win this game. Can they just turn it on and be great and play a Bills team that's been playing fairly well and beat them on the road? I don't know. But here's what I do know. What I do know is there's only going to be a few chances in life where what you're witnessing is 2 of the best quarterbacks of their generation going at each other, right? I can remember pretty much every Brady Manning game. And so when we've got Mahomes Allen, you have to bet the over. There's no excuses for not betting the over. If you don't bet the over, you're an anti-football pussy. You have to if you're going to sit there and watch this game and be like, I hope they punt. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's no way to go through life. So number 1, I'm betting the over in this game. That's that. We're betting the over. As far as the side, I'm at the point now where anytime I can, because again, you're not going to get many opportunities to do this either. If I can get Mahomes plus points, I'm taking it. Yeah. You give me Pat Mahomes and I start the game up points, I have to take it. So I'm on the Chiefs plus 2.5 here. I would love for it to get to 3. I really, really hope that a bunch of people start betting the Bills and we can get that to 3 because Pat Mahomes in a field goal is, I mean, you're not like, there's just, I guarantee, like, I bet there's less than 5 times in the next 5 years where I can get Pat Mahomes and a field goal. So that's what I'm doing in this game. And listen, to be honest with you, I hope the Chiefs lose. I would love for them to lose, because then that future price is actually going to get to a place where I want to bet.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I want them to lose. I would love for that. I want them to lose and hopefully look bad.
Yeah.
And then we get a week of like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute, changing of the guard in the AFC. Is Josh Allen really the best quarterback? Josh Allen MVP thing will go through the roof, right? That'll be all there. And then I will go hammer time. I said it before, and I do it. We will go future of the year on Chiefs Super Bowl if it gets to plus 500. If it gets to plus 500, we're future of the year in Chiefs Super Bowl. And one of the ways we can get that is if the Bills run them over in this game. So I'm going to be cheering for the Bills, but I'm betting. You can't give me Pat Mahomes in a field goal and tell me I'm not going to take it. That's if it gets to 3, it's a line in the sand bet of like, no, we're not. You can't give me maybe the greatest quarterback of all time plus a full field goal. So we'll line in the sand it if it gets to 3. Right now the play's 2.5. So that's it, man. That's going to be a fun week of games coming up. I'm excited about it. All 3 are going to matter. There's some good other games. Like I said, like Bengals Chargers is not bad. Packers Bears is always interesting. Even just, from a Schadenfreude standpoint of watching the Bears suffer. Yeah. So, some Seahawks Niners isn't bad. Like, it should be a good week. Should be a good slate of games.
That game matters a lot for the Seahawks Niners too,
yeah,
right?
That division's so tight. Listen, the Kyler Murray MVP future is not dead. All right, people keep wanting to tell me it's dead. It's not dead. It's not dead. They might win that division. He's playing
great.
What I
like. This is like, give me a path on this, because I know they have to win the division.
They've already have wins. They already have a win over the Niners. They have. I think they've beaten the Seahawks. Let me pull this up. They off this week. And they are. To get him over Lamar and Allen, like that is a massive long shot. Yeah, listen, he's gonna have to go hammer time. No, they have not beaten the Seahawks yet. Let's see who they've beaten. So they have wins over. They've beaten the Chargers. They beat the Niners twice.
Yep.
Beat the Niners twice? No, just once. I thought they killed the Niners.
No, they won by the... No,
24-23. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. They came back on that
They killed the Jets. That's who they killed. Right, just now. They just killed the Jets. And they killed the Rams. They killed the Rams, 41-10.
Oh, yeah.
In week 2. Yeah, they murdered the Rams. So listen, the path is they got to win the division. They may have to finish as like a top 2 seed in the NFC, which that's going to be difficult. They're going to need some help there. And then Kyler's going to have to go crazy. But it's not dead. Listen, I got it at plus 8,000.
No, it's a crazy bet. It's awesome.
And he's at right now plus 3,300. And so it's not
okay.
It's not
out. Right, he's climbing.
Oh yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, no, listen, I saw listen. It's very funny that as soon as Cliff went out of town, all of a sudden Kyler Murray's the best player in the world again. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Well, the guy was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. Got to the pros, and Cliff got his hooks into him, and he wasn't great. As soon as Cliff leaves, it's like, oh yeah, he's excellent. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I wonder what the problem was. Maybe it was the fraud in the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit haircut. Put some more gel in it. No, that'll convince everybody. No. Listen, nobody knows you're getting older. None of us see it, Cliff. No, you're always going to be 33 years old for an insecure dork.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's the episode. Thank you for listening to the Diceshaker Podcast. Subscribe, like, rate, tell your friends, all that stuff. Like I said, we're now giving picks out for free all the time. 57% in the NFL. Never going to charge for it. You don't have to pay. You just got to tell your friends. Thank you.
I bet my life I'm a dice shaker. Electric lights on a skyscraper. It's up and down.